share with you today another practice that I do. I don't do this every single morning, but I definitely do it in spring because it's kind of everything kind of comes out of the body at this stage. We kind of go into those summer and spring colds, and the pollen count is starting to rise, so we start to get a little bit congested around the sinuses. So this is another practice that I do around spring. So it's the neti pot. Sorry if you've done a neti pot before, you do not need to watch this video, but I just wanted to share with you the process that I have for doing my neti pot. So a neti pot is essentially a nasal or sinus rinse, okay, so it's just going to rinse out any debris, mucus around the sinuses and the nasal passage, and it's really helpful for doing this before you do pranayama work because it frees just everything up around the nasal passage and for breath work. So this is my neti pot, and these are the salts that I use. So you want to make sure that you use non-iodized salts, so do not use table salt because it will not be good for your nose and can lead to infection and inflammation. So you need to use non-iodized salt. I use Himalaya. It's called Himalayan Chandra, which is neti salt. So this is the stuff that I use. Another thing is obviously the neti pot. My neti pot is a little unusual. It was a gift. It was gifted to me, so it is a little bit unusual. So what I do the night before is I will boil water in the kettle, and then I will there's a scoop in here, okay, so I put a scoop of salt into the neti pot, and then I fill that up with boiled water, I cover it overnight, and then I let it sit because obviously I need it to cool down. I don't want it to be boiling hot going up my nasal passage. So I usually prepare it the night before. I cover it over so there's no debris or stuff going to kind of find its way into the pot, and I even cover the nozzle as well, which I'm going to use for my nose. You want to make sure that the pot is disinfected, so it's sterile. So just give it a really good rinse with boiling water, just to make sure that it's really nice and clean. And then you're going to need some tissues, and you are going to need a bowl. I'm going to use this bowl. It's the biggest bowl I have. Normally I would do this in the bathroom over the sink, which I would definitely highly recommend you do. But for these purposes, right for now, this is how I'm setting myself up so that you guys can see what I'm going to do. So I know that the water in here is cool. I've put a little additional bit of boiling water in there, and I've kind of swished it around so it's not cold, it's lukewarm. Okay, so it's warm. And I know this by just testing on the inner wrist, just like, you know, if you wanted to test baby milk, you test it on the inner wrist to make sure it's not going to scald the mouth or those really sensitive areas of the body. So you want to make sure. Okay, so getting down to it, how do you do the neti pot? You want to make sure when you're doing it, you're breathing in through your mouth, okay, and out through your mouth, because obviously the nasal passage is being cleansed. So you are going to hold the neti pot up to one nostril. I like to clean my left nostril first. So hold it up and just let it run. Try not to sniff or do anything like that. Just be calm, be relaxed, breathe through the mouth. Try not to get stressed out. Yeah, you're going to see the water is going to pour out the left nostril. Once you're halfway through the neti pot, you're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to tilt your head. You'll get a sense of how you need to tilt it in order for the water to run out the nasal passage as opposed to down the throat. Okay, because remember, it's salty water. It's not too salty, yeah, but it doesn't taste that great, okay? So, here we go. I am going to demonstrate. So, I've got my neti pot. I know that the temperature is absolutely going to be fine for my nasal passage, for my nose. I'm not going to damage any sensitive areas. Okay, another thing to think about here is it must be sterile water. So boiled water is best. Do not use tap water unless it has been boiled, because tap water has not been filtered enough, yeah, for us for these purposes. So it needs to have been boiled. All right, so just word of precaution there. No tap water. Here we go, unless it's boiled. So you're going to put the little tip just on the nostril. You're going to tilt your head slightly forward. I'm going to try and aim for the bowl here. And then just going to feel, and then the water will start to run. Okay, so that's about a little bit under halfway. I'm just going to blow my nose here. And already I can feel a massive difference. And then I'm going to go the other side. Okay, so again, I'm just tilting the head. Finding that point where you know the water is going to start to run. Breathe in through the nose. Sorry, through the mouth. Don't breathe through the nose. And again, it feels pretty good. Okay, so again, I'm just going to blow my nose. And definitely, I think my left side needs a little bit more, and I've still got a bit more water there. So I'm going to go again, okay, just on that other side. So I can feel that just by closing my mouth and drawing the breath in. It's much, much freer on my right side, so I'm going to just use that little bit of extra water to kind of see if I can clear the left side a bit more. And again, blow the nose. Much, much better. Okay, so everything feels really nice and clear now in my nose. You can hear there's a little change in my voice as well because I've just cleaned all of this area. So you might need to blow your nose just a couple of times just to get rid of any excess water that you kind of feel is, or mucus that is really stuck and has started to kind of shift. And it feels good, okay? So now I feel really nice and clear in my nasal passage. And I can breathe very freely through both of my nostrils. And I'm now ready for pranayama work. So that is another thing that I really incorporate and really like to do, especially as we head towards spring, to help clear everything out and get all those sinuses nice and clean. You'll also notice as well that eyes will start to become really bright. The whites of the eyes will start to brighten over the days that you do this. And you'll just start to breathe just a lot freer through that nasal passage. I hope this has really helped you, and thank you for joining me. And I will see you again for the next ritual that I'm going to share.